banking. She understands from the bottom what it is and what it takes. She didn't just vumbuga from nowhere and get to a leadership structure. She's not just a face of just, you know how leadership goes. They just put a female there as representation. But we're talking about people who've been from the ground and escalated to the top. And she has this experience and has been spanning from the banking space as well as insurance. And I think one of the ladies spoke about the Gen Zs, and that's a very topic that I love, and understanding how and what things like fintech is. Because this is the generation that we're talking about. If you want to merge things like sports, you need to understand how fintech works in order to get them involved. So she has been there with, she's been in the middle, she started a role in middle to senior management with a focus on developing effective team and driving internal and external stakeholder relations. She's passionate about financial planning and sees it as an important aspect in helping clients as well as communities in better planning for the now, the future, as well as the unexpected. Queen is indeed a powerful force. Wamona luena gore, hey, she's a khoshi khadi, this one. And you know, she uses a positive attitude and timeless energy to encourage others to work hard, succeed, as well as to grow. She holds a degree in marketing, project management through SBL, and has done a senior management development program with the University of Stellenbosch, among other accolades within the educational space. And, you know, as females, it's quite important to understand and to know that you are a whole woman. And she attributes her success to three beautiful children and the supportive family. And this is what we're recognizing about female leadership, is the importance of support from the ground, from your family, and that's what enables them to be in these positions. I'd like us to please give a warm round of welcome for her as she comes and ascends the stage.
Good morning. Is it still morning? Okay, it's still morning. Or ke re thobela. Gape re gae mo. Ke ga bomma. I think I would like to acknowledge the beautiful ladies in the room. What an honor to be invited and to be standing in front of you. Mekekana, awa, Ralibona, Cecilia, and all the other dignitaries in the room. I think barring all protocol observed, so that I don't miss anyone. I think just to correct our program director, I'm not here to give money. I think let's get that one out of the way, because I know people in business, people in corporations, they're always looking for money. I think one of the important aspects that we never ever talk around, it's around financial wellness. What does that mean? Understand? Because, and I think there was a question at the back there to say, how do we ensure that the right education and the right skills and the right knowledge goes down to the right people? So I'm standing here as someone, I think one of the things you missed is that I've got a postgraduate degree in financial planning. So I'm very passionate around how is it that we plan around our finances, but also how do we plan for the now, the tomorrow, and the future. Because if I look at this room here, I'm sitting with a lot of mothers. I mean, you may be sportswomen, you may be women that are in organizations, but you are a lot more than that. You know, and how do we ensure that as we build this legacy, we ensure that those milestones, those little steps around our finances, we are able to deal with them. I mean, there are many challenges that sportswomen face. I think one of those is, I mean, the gender pay gap. We can agree men still get paid better than most women do. Another thing is that the career is very short. The career is very short because remember, you can't still play soccer or netball at 50. You know, so what is the plan to make sure that you can retire comfortably when you have to retire? But also there are life events that interrupt sportswomen, like pregnancy, like childbirth. You know, during those periods, sometimes some of you are not able to even earn an income because you're reliant on sponsorships or you're reliant on the skill that you have. And honestly, if you're pregnant, you can't really kick a ball and play soccer on the field. You know, you have to look at that child. But also there's issues around lack of financial knowledge. You know, a lot of the times professionals get money and it comes in bulk at the time. But one of the challenges we have is what do we do with that money when it comes as a bulk? And that's what I'm here to talk to you about. And I think another important thing is how do we create and build a healthy financial credit history? I mean, one of the challenges we have is that when we get that bulk money, we start making very uninformed financial decisions that actually land us in really some hot water. You know, and someone will ask, what is financial wellness? You know, according to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, you know, it says it's a state of being wherein individuals have control over day-to-day, month-to-month finances, can absorb a financial shock, are on track to meet their financial goals, and have the financial freedom to make the choices that allow them to enjoy life. If you listen to that, can you say you are financially well? Okay, thank you. Can we, oh, thank you. Madam, my voice was projecting quite nicely. Can you really say you are financially well? Because financial wellness is not just about your pocket, it's about your mind, it's about your physical, it's about your health. You know, when finances are not in order, everything else gets impacted. And how do we ensure that we create consistencies in terms of our daily expenses? I mean, your monies come in big bulks. How do we ensure that when we get into relationships, for one, we make the right choices, because that has an impact on our finances? How do we make sure that we take care of our mental health? Because if you're not financially healthy, you will not be mentally well. And I don't care who says what. If you're not financially healthy, you will not be mentally well. And I think another issue is around, you know, lack of savings. And I think I'm going to leave this and really talk to women from the heart. Because one of the things I'm very passionate about is financial planning and looking at how it impacts on us as women. We can agree that for the longest time, women, we've been marginalized. But there is such a huge responsibility in society on us. Who are the most breadwinners? Women, again. So when we in life, everything that happens within our families, extended families, we are the ones that are always looked upon. Therefore, we are expected to be stable and solid. But how do we ensure that we are stable and solid? And that comes from the decisions that we make. And people will ask you, at what age do I start, you know, being financially responsible? It's as young as possible. You know, one of the problems we're sitting with currently is over-indebtedness of women. I mean, we go into debt, we don't understand what we're getting ourselves into, and we dig ourselves deeper and deeper and deeper into debt. So one important thing you need to start off with is understanding the different types of debt, what is good debt and what is bad debt. What is good debt? Good debt is buying a house. That's good debt. Going shopping at Queen's Park, is that a good debt? On credit? It's not a good debt. And another one that I like debating is around buying a car. Is buying a car a good debt? It's not. But you see, and I think this is where it comes in. You are a good sportswoman, you get sponsors, you get this bulk of money. What is the first thing that we normally do? You want to go buy a GTI or a Range Rover, okay? And half of the time, that GTI and the Range Rover, because you've got this lump sum of money, you think this windfall is still going to come. You don't even buy it cash. You put some deposit and then you labor it and then you have to pay an installment for it. And sometimes what we do, we even take a balloon because we want to afford it. You understand? What happens 6 months down the line when income is not coming? What's going to happen to that car? But also one of the things that you need to realize is that when you buy that car, the moment you drive it out of the dealership, it has lost value. You are buying a depreciating asset. So therefore, buying a car is not good debt. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with buying a car. I'm just saying when you're about to buy a car, think deeply and understand, can I really afford this car? If you have to take it on balloon payment, you don't afford it. You understand? If you have to take it on balloon, you do not afford it. You are overstretching yourself and you're going to find yourself in trouble. Secondly, what other considerations are you making? Are you just looking at the installment, or are you looking at the insurance? Are you looking at the petrol cost? I mean, if I drive a 1.1, my full tank is 700 Rand. If you come here with your Range Rover, your full tank is 2.8. And what a sad moment it is when you get into a garage, I feel my 700 Rand in my 1.1, and you come with a Range Rover, we'll tell her 200. Look at you weird and like, hey, something is wrong here. But also, do you take consideration of how much the tires are? You understand? Fine, let's leave the car. So think around debt and saying, how do I ensure that when I get my money, I focus and put it towards the good things? But also importantly, investing. Have I got investments? Have I got money for emergency days? Your income is not consistent. So therefore, when you receive that lump sum, take some of it and put it away. Take some and put it in an investment. Take some and put it away for your children. You know, one of the things that saddens me the most right now is the number of children that are unable to go to varsity because there is no money to take them to varsity. And those are our children. And who's responsible for that? It's not government, it's us. But because as parents, we do not make the right choices for our children end up being hooked on drugs and stuff like that because they are idling kokas. Okay. So when, people will ask you, when is the right time for me to start saving for my children, for their education? If you haven't had a child yet, let me give you a trick. That moment when that child gets the birth certificate, you go and speak to Thandi and say, Thandi, how do I make an education plan for my child? That is the time you start. Because then you are ensuring that as your child goes through primary, high school, and everything else, you don't have issues to deal with in terms of their education. You understand? That is sorted. And also, saving money says when I do not have money, at least then those day-to-day expenses that I have, those being able to take care of my family, I can be able to take care of them. Another challenge that we have is that because you're a sportswoman, you get this lump sum of money. Family hovers around you like vultures. Colleagues, I know there's Ubuntu in black families, but you need to take care of yourself first before you take care of everyone else. One of the lessons I've learned growing up, it's okay to be selfish. Because when you're selfish, you will protect yourself. Before you think about, how do I build my aunt a house? Are you okay? Are you going to be okay in the next 5 years? Are you going to be okay to retire? There's nothing wrong with helping. But before you help one of your family members, ask yourself, can I afford it? Because when all that money is gone and you're all alone, you have nowhere to go, there'll be nowhere to be found. You understand? There'll be nowhere to be found. And that's why it's important to take care of yourself first before you take care of your family. And people will always ask, what about children? Yes, we give birth to them. Yes, we're supposed to raise them. But there needs to come a point, mothers, where we cut the umbilical cord. Yes. You have to cut the umbilical cord because otherwise you are disabling your child. You are going to have a dependent even when they are 40 and you are 80. And you know what is the saddest part? A lot of parents here that are going to be retiring soon, you're not going to be able to enjoy your retirement. You know why? Because you did not cut the umbilical cord. So one of the other important things around saving is that as a sportswoman, unfortunately, your career may come, the retirement age may come sooner than some of us at 60, But I think it's important as well, as you do these things, you look at what are the other additional sources of income can I create for myself? So that you know that when I cannot run anymore or I cannot play netball anymore, I have something that I can rely on. You understand? But also, how do we ensure that cumulatively you manage your money wisely to make sure that it outlives your career? It doesn't end with you. And that's why it's also important to save for retirement. I think I was speaking to Mama earlier where we were talking about retirement and she was like, I mean, I'm already retired. I wish I knew. But we never understand how important it is to save for a retirement. Understand? You start saving for retirement as young as you are. I always say to people, when you get your first job and you can make money, saving for retirement doesn't have to be expensive. It starts as little as $150 a month, $200, $300, and cumulatively over the years you have money. Why is it important to save for your retirement? Firstly, you're not going to be a burden to your children. Our mama, can we get out of mentality of our children owe us? They owe you nothing. Your kids do not owe you anything. That is why it's important that you save for your own retirement. Secondly, why is it important that you save for retirement? So that you don't have to be a grandmother. Unnecessarily not because you have choice, but because you don't have a choice. You know why we become grandmothers? Not because we have a choice. I get it, you're thinking, Cecilia had 1,000 rand. So therefore, if I refuse, I'm not going to get the 1,000 rand. But if you are financially stable, you're not going to be worried about Cecilia and her children. You understand? When they say, I want to bring children, you say, I have plans. Nali Mamria, we're going to Durban. That's how retirement is supposed to be. You understand? But also remember, the older we are, medically, we are very unfit. You know, I was worried this morning when I was getting ready. I'm like, yo, I'm meeting women in sports. Do I have a figure? Am I fit enough? You know, these people, you don't know the muscles you're gonna come across and stuff, But the truth of the matter is that we're not young. As we age, the knees start, the whatever start. So medically, you actually need more money for medical reasons than what you needed as a younger person. And you need to make sure that you cater for that. You understand? It's not nice sitting at a public clinic for hours to get attention, whereas you could go to your private doctor and actually get attention. But you can never enjoy that unless you have really saved for that retirement. I think one of the important things, I know I've got very limited time and I'm trying to compress this thing. There's an important one. You get your monies, and all of a sudden, other than the vultures, there are men that want to come close to you. There's a Sipho now all of a sudden that wants to marry you. Before you had money, they didn't even give you a second look. Again, now that you are moneyed, you are more attractive than you were. You are the most beautiful person in the world. Okay. And funny thing, I don't know why women, we get messed up by this thing called love. We stop thinking. I think people talk about things barking butterflies in the stomach. Okay, let me tell you something. There are no butterflies. That's just lies. Okay. Relationships are one of the things that causes us a lot of mental, that affects our mental health. And it's very much linked to financial. Okay. Because when we get into relationships, there's very important aspects that we never discuss. If you meet, today Ali, and you can see he's a very charming, handsome man. He can tell you words that will make you think like you are floating in a balloon. You understand? And that is beautiful. But what is important, when this man says to you, I love you and want to marry you, what are the key things that you need to take into consideration? Financial spelling. Exactly, I like the house, Cecilia. Ladies, when a man says to you, I love you, I want to marry you, before I salele ngolo ko pang mama gago ko papa gago ko mang, Abut Ali, I love you to my sweetheart, but ke kopa re be di payslips tsa rena mo kapa di financials tsa rena mo if we run a business. No. It's not around comparing who earns what. It's about being able to understand that as I get into this thing, is there going to be financial viability, or else am I gonna be hungry? Secondly, the issue of assets and liabilities. The second thing is, TransUnion gives credit reports for free.
Five more minutes, Queen.
Okay, let's print our credit reports and let's place them here. Why do you need the credit report? You need to understand how is he financially stable or not? Is he a liability or is he an asset? Who does he owe and how does he manage? What is his behavior with debt? Because you know what's nice about a credit report? It even tells you for the last 24 months, how have you been paying that thing? Did you have areas or not? That way, you are then more informed into what kind of marriage arrangement you're still going to get into with. You understand? The third thing, you discuss family. I need to understand from your background, Mama, what is the family outlook like? Because remember, as black people, I may be standing here as queen, but I have a mother that I'm looking after. I have a brother I might be looking after. Those are things that are going to impact on our financials. And it's important to know when Abut Ali marries me, doesn't mean they have to stop looking after their mother. It's their mother. Otherwise, that could be the one thing that actually breaks your marriage and causes unhappiness in the house because you didn't discuss such things. But importantly as well, I like, as Sam said, when we are pregnant, we show. But men, when they are pregnant, they don't show again. It's important to ask, other than the children that I see here, are there other ones I'm not aware of? You know why? Because if you marry any man in community of property, it means everything that he's responsible for, you are responsible for it, including maintenance for children that are not yours. Yes. All the debt that he has is now yours. Do you understand? So it's very important to ask those questions. I don't know why people still marry in community of property, but by the way, that still happens. But secondly as well, it's those things, when you understand them, then you can determine, how do I want to marry with this person? Do I want to marry COP? Do I want to marry in ANC, no accrual? Or do I marry ANC with accrual? You understand? And it's very important to understand those things. So I'm 48. I got remarried for the second time around 2 years ago. So I'm 2 years married now. I will not do the same mistake I did the first time, which was COP. This time I actually said, I love you, my darling. I need companion, ki hloka mofuto, but one thing is that ANC, no accrual. I'm not rich. No, I'm not wealthy. But one thing I know is that you don't know what is the potential that God has put in front of you. And I am not going to work another years of my life for a man to take everything away from me. Sorry. So it's very important to make those decisions. I know I'm limited. Last one. The last one. If you are married and you're sitting in this room, even if you are married, you have children, it's very important that you have a life cover. If you are married, you must have a life cover on your husband. No. It's not because you're going to kill them. No. Colleagues, it's not about you killing them. Remember, when we get married, Abu Ali, when we go buy that beautiful house on the hill, whose income is used to buy that house? It's a joint income again. I get we buy these beautiful things because we can both afford them. What happens if the one spouse passes away? So it's a choice whether you want to still afford living in that house, or you actually want your kids to be out on the street. You understand? But also, remember again, in black families, colleagues, when a man dies, who killed him? The wife. Again. And the important thing why you need a life cover is so that when there's fights around the estate, remember what's nice about a life cover? The beneficiary is the person that gets the money, which is going to be you in this instance. And when the fights are happening around the estate, the pension and whatever, when you'll be sitting there in the mattress smiling, knowing 3 million is going to be saying cling, cling, cling. Understand? You see? And that's very important, but also not for just the money thing, but also to make sure you can continue with the life that you had before the unforeseen circumstances happen. Your children can continue going to the private schools. Your children can go to varsity. But also for you as well, that if you are the one that passes away, when you have a life cover, you're taking care of we spoke about, today it's about what? Leadership and legacy. That is legacy. How do you protect your children and ensure that they have a life that they would live lifelong? And lastly, importantly, ensure that you have a will in place for your children. Not for your husband, not for your mother, but to protect your children. And if you have underage children, please, please, please note this if you haven't had anything from me today. If you have underage children, on your will, please clearly state that their proceeds must go under a testamentary trust. That means that if you die, even if you have appointed your mother as a guardian, the money, the lump sum 3 million will not go to your mother, but it will be managed by a beneficiary fund that ensures the child has everything. And over time, when they are 21, the money whatever's left can be released. And that is to ensure that you protect the livelihood that you've had for your children. Because yes, it's your aunt, it's your mother. Can you really trust them with 2.5 million or 5 million? They're going to build a double story and leave your child destitute. So there's a lot to cover, and I think 20 minutes is not enough, but thank you so much.
Wow. Queen, please take a seat. Find, maybe someone would be able to assist you the mic there. Please take a seat at the front. Bazalwane, go and consult at Metropolitan. Offices are open Monday to Friday, from 8 o'clock to 5. Hey, I'm going to be a marketing manager at Metropolitan. Even on Saturdays. Ne? So you need to go and consult and hear. I'm not jealous. Pella, when I was coming in, I'm thinking, hey, the ladies will be saying, this man, he doesn't want us to hear what Queen is saying. But I think what you were saying is very critical. We're going to take a round of questions, and when we do the questions, likewise, we take one round, we'll take everyone's hand. Our youth will be the first person, then the second person. Second question. Right. There's the second question. Then I want to check if we don't have any other. I heard you saying ANC. Were you saying people should vote ANC next year? Oh, okay.
I was saying they must make an anti-network conference.
Oh, okay. Right, so we only have 2 questions, right? As indicated during lunch, when we are done and preparing for the awards, you can please go to her and she'll direct you to a branch next to her. This talk is very important. Please take it straight away. Please bring the mic very close to yourself.
Thank you. I first want to disclaim, Ali and Alsria sent me a link that I sent to my mother. Now you're telling my mother to cut umbilical cords before Christmas. I think it's a crisis. Nonetheless, the question I want to ask is, I think, around the protection of a woman who goes into a second marriage with children, and what are the steps in safeguarding your child? Because if anything does happen to you, the law does not protect or force a step-parent to protect your children. So I think a little discussion on that could assist.
All right.
In your talk, you sort of mentioned women who are working. But what about women who are not working and whose husband is then the sole provider? I had a conversation with somebody that I met by chance and learned that she's married and she's living a wonderful life, but she does not have a pension fund. You know, so what other advice would you give to people who choose to be stay-at-home parents and they're not earning an income, and how do they secure their future? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think 2 straightforward questions. I thought to sit down. They say great corporate MCs sit down during question and answers.
Okay, thank you.
So please take them straight away. 5 minutes, and then we get to the next item.
I think the first question is very important. Number one, when you get married with children, it's important to choose the right contract in terms of your marriage. One, I wouldn't go into a COP. You would then choose an anti-nuptial contract. And depending at what age you are and what assets you have acquired and will acquire, look at whether you want it with accrual or no accrual. The second thing, it's very important that you have a will in place. And that is why I said in the will, if you have underage children, make sure that there's a testamentary trust. Because establishing a living trust is very expensive, but a trust for your children can be set up on your death to ensure that the monies that you leave for your children are protected from your spouse, from family members, from everybody. And even with your children, if you've got a 19-year-old child, you can still put the money in a testamentary trust and say they must release it when they're 25. Because sometimes we leave a lot of money for young children that have no idea how to manage $1 million or $2 million. So it's important that when you have and sit down with a financial advisor and you do your will, you state clearly what must happen. But I think importantly, a will is what can protect you and protect your children. But also it's important that as a mother, if you've got children, have a life cover. So that whilst your estate is being wound up, at least one of the responsible children in your family, or if you've got 4, you have distributed equally what their money is. And in the trust again, in the will again, you can also stipulate that the proceeds from the life cover must then go into a testamentary trust for underage children. The reason why I keep going back to a life cover is because a life cover, you are able to choose beneficiaries and it does not form part of your estate as long as this beneficiary is chosen. The only time it will fall into your estate is if there are no beneficiaries. And some people will say, I have a pension, what about my pension? There are many rules surrounding pensions, especially when you're going to leave it to children. With pensions, there's a whole, although you may have nominated your children, there is still the trustees that decide how that money is going to be distributed, and that may influence the period in which it gets paid, which can be anything from 12 months to 3 years. You understand? And in a case of Abu Ali, so you might find that Abu Ali even has other children that actually have to be included in the distribution. That's how you can actually, long shot, that's a long shot answer I can give. And then with regards to women that are home executives, I always say if you're going to be a home executive, have a very clear contract with your husband in terms of your allowance. Never agree to be a home executive where you don't have money that gets paid directly to you. And because when you have money that gets directly paid to you, you can decide what you do with that money. And I think it's important as women, even if your husband is doing very well, have your own little plan on the side. One, you can pay a retirement annuity to make sure that you secure your own retirement, which you can, contribute from as little as 300, I think, a month towards your retirement. And secondly, you can also create an emergency fund for yourself. That cushion, because colleagues, reality is that we've got the highest rate of divorce in this country. And sometimes women, we stay in marriages where we are unhappy because we're depending on someone financially. Importantly, it's when times are good, take that money and put it away for yourself. You don't know when you're going to have a rainy day. And that is very, very important. But also, a mother is the one that will protect the children. Ensure that in your discussions with your husband, there's right savings plans and stuff like that you put in place for your kids. The thing with wills is we can sign a will together right now, sitting together as husband and wife. I leave, you leave, and then you go 10 and the husband goes, changes and does something else. So that's why it's always saying, there's no one that's coming to save you, ladies. You need to make sure that before you protect the next person, you protect yourself. And make those choices. It's very difficult sometimes to make the right choice decisions around the monies that you're given by your husband. So if your husband spoils you 50,000, don't go buy an LV bag. Go buy a simple bag, take 40 grand and save it. Unless he's the one that goes into the shop directly and pays for the LV bag. But if they give you hard cash 50,000 rand, use it wisely and save it for a day where you're actually going to need it. And I always say, as a home executive, sometimes it's important to actually see what are the things that I am passionate about. Because you can start your own small hustle. Children grow up and they leave the house. What are you going to do then? Have your own plan and never forget that you are an individual, although you could have chosen to be someone's wife, and be taken care of by them.
Wow. Akere likwile ladies, you now need to move away from Brazilian hair to Hungarian hair. Stop spending 5,000 rand on that hair and spend 500 rand. And I'm looking at you, Ms. Cecilia Mlogwan. Right. You'll help us in closing. Can we please give her that mic? So this is the last question on this session. The panelists for straight to her. The panelists for part 2, leadership and legacy. Please get ready.
Okay. Is it on?
Yes.
Okay. So, as I said earlier, I retired long ago and I didn't have a long-term plan. And my lifestyle now have changed and is demanding. So how do I plan my retirement from now onwards, moving forward, without an income that is stable?
Before you answer, let's go to Cecilia first.
Okay.
I think it's a comment on my side to say I hear everything and it's genuine, it's good advice. But I want to say in all that you're saying, people must not forget to live and to live their life to the best. Don't be ashamed to go and buy Brazilian hair when you can afford it at the time. Because there'll be a time in your life that priorities change. And when priorities change, you'll be saying, I should have done 7, 8, 9. So I always say, when it's your time to shine, shine. Don't be apologetic about it. Don't be apologetic of looking beautiful. Don't be apologetic of dating a rich man. Date him. Take the money. But as you take in the money from the rich man, save the money. But look beautiful.
Cecilia, I'm like you. I love living and I love beautiful things. That, guys, I will not even take it away. I think what is important, and why I was saying what I was saying, is that if you're going to buy Brazilian hair and you're going to buy it with your credit card, you don't afford it. If you're going to buy Brazilian hair and you buy it cash and you've got the money too, and all your other responsibilities, your bond is paid, your rates and taxes are paid, your kids have food, all good and well. And I think it's very important that as we spend and look after ourselves, we prioritize. And you know, one of the things, I think I've gone through bouts of being okay financially and not being okay financially. Even when you're not okay financially, you can still look beautiful. You understand? Looking beautiful, it doesn't always have to be exorbitant and costly. Colleagues, how na style? Oka kena le ko Mr. Price. Only very beautiful. You understand? It's all around looking beautiful and looking nice. It's not about expensive. It's about coordinating. You just need to know, how do I take this and put it with this and put it with that? You understand? I'm one of those people, I can come here, and wear my expensive sneakers, t-shirt, Mr. Price. But how I'm coordinating them, you'll think, oh, she is so expensive. And it's not about that. I think that the most important thing is that it doesn't matter. I always say, when you feel the worst, that's the time that you must show up. Never ever let the world know how you are feeling. Live, and that's what living is about.
Right, let's give a round of applause to Queen Kganyago. During lunch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's give a round of applause to Queen Kganyago. Everyone else, I know there were several other people who wanted to ask Queen. So during lunch, you would be able to ask those questions. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome on the stage our panelist, an entrepreneur who specializes in travel and tourism, one who does digital marketing the best way we know how, a creative directing and editing. How, Munira? How, Munira? Hey? I've not introduced you yet. Okay, you're chasing me away.
She's saving you time.
No. Right. I'm going away from your profile. People know your profile anyway. I want to be able to call the panelists. We're enjoying ourselves, no? These sessions are informative, right? I mean, it can't get better than this. Next year, this time, Mamria, Munir, by the time we leave the awards tonight, can we please have a date for next year? Tonight, by the time we leave the awards, in that way we'll be able to hold you accountable and say, this is happening. Lady Aline, we need a date for next year. Next year, this time. It's fine, we can even fly to Mauritius and do it there. We've got passports. Right, I'm going to welcome the panelists that Munira is going to facilitate the next session. And, this is a powerhouse. I think I've never seen an event with panelists as powerful as this event, and MCs as powerful as this MCs. Right, I'm going to welcome, now why am I opening the awards program? I want to fast forward already. Munira is already here. Her profile has already been done in the last session. But for panel 2, who are going to deal with leadership and legacy, already Queen Kganyago is there. Let's give her a round of applause. Allow me to call on the stage Me Cecilia Molokwane. Let's give her a round of applause. I've been interviewing you on radio all these years and we had never met. This is interesting. Right, let's give her a round of applause. I'm going to call next on the stage, drum roll. Bomme Muditambi Ravere. I hope I'm not going to get a fine for saying Mutitambi. So you're expecting to be called last, eh? Yeah, no. Whatever, I think, yeah, I need to find an Inyanga you're using. I want to be in all these boards, man. All these boards in South Africa. You know, she's in almost all the boards, ne? Like everybody has sport, that even non-sport related stuff. I'm like, I know. Maybe that Inyanga is in Venda. I can be able to find the person and also be in these boards. Allow me to call Tsepo. Yo, I love this woman. Yo. Let's give her a round of applause. Tsepo Matawat, we want that money from the Business Forum. And lastly, I hope I'm not forgetting anyone here. Let's give a round of applause to Lwandile Simelane. I can see him, she's still 22 years old. That's why I'm calling her last. Varki youth yaruna. Right, so we're going to follow the same process, ladies and gentlemen, as unfortunately, Monera, you have 30 minutes on the time, on the clock. After 30 minutes, we are going to come and do questions and answers. We'll only take one round of questions. If you have a question, please write it down. We won't do what we're doing now, right? One round of questions. Once we finish all that round of questions, other things we'll discuss them over lunch. Over to you.
Thank you. I feel discriminated against. Why do I get 30 minutes? I mean, I talk a lot, Celia talks a lot, Lwandile talks a lot, Queen talks a lot, Tamdi talks a lot, Tsepo talks a lot. Like, we have so much to share. But thank you very much. I think it's proper just to say all protocol observed. And it's good to see so many ladies here today. And we're all learning so much and also imparting so much. Our panel is Leadership and Legacy. So I'm going to do it a little bit different. Instead of me introducing the panelists, I'm going to give you 1 minute each. Who you are as a leader, what is your best moment?
Thank you, Manera. I know you'd start with me because I'm the woman that your mother warned you about. I want to start by saying I'm a mother. That's the first thing I'll say. And I am a woman who'd want to see change in women. And where I am right now, I think and my best moment and achievement, no one in the history brought the World Cup here. For the first time in 60 years, I did that when it was a challenge, when I thought it wouldn't happen. And with all the challenges and all the animosity that was in it, that people don't know, you just see what you see on TV and you think it's easy. I'm happy to be sitting here today to say, a black woman, you must understand what I'm saying. A black woman from a rural village delivered the World Cup for the first time in 60 years on African soil.
Thank you. The supposed youth.
I don't know why it's supposed. Under the United Nations, you're youth till 40, and I'm not 40 yet. So I'm Lwandile Simelane. I'm the first vice president of SASCOC. I also chair the Gender Commission of SASCOC. I've also been a member of the Remunerations Committee as well as the Audit Committee. Before you think women must just do gender work, we have other work and capabilities. I'm also the vice president of South African Hockey, which is my passion and where I grew up in sport, but I do love sports in general. And yeah, right now I am the youngest. I was the youngest until we introduced some younger people. We have to always say you can be the youngest or the first, but we'll judge you if you're the last. I have introduced younger black women onto the board of SASCOC since the time.
Thank you.
I think I'm already introduced. Queen, my surname is actually Malobane now. My husband would actually find me if he had, or I'm still using the Khanya Jose name. But after 2 years of marriage, I just only changed the surname recently. So I think there's still a lot of confusion that goes there. I think, more than anything, I am a mother. Coming from a background that I came from, the driving force behind the woman that's sitting in front of you has been ensuring that my children never have to go through what I went through growing up. People always ask, what is my biggest fear? My biggest fear is being poor. That is the one thing that I don't want to see myself in. And I think I always look at ways to say, how do I assist those around me to ensure that they can change where they're coming from? Because where you come from does not define who you are. It is where you are, and also trusting that where you are is where you're supposed to be. So I believe that the light and the force that we always are seeking out there, it's already inside each one of us. And it's always around standing steadfast in terms of your belief and always knowing what you are here for. And no matter what tries to move you, shake you and stuff like that, you stand fast in that belief of who you are. I think in financial services, we work in a very male-dominated industry. And rising up as a female, it's one of the hardest things. But I think if you are very intent on what you want for yourself out of your life and not for anyone else, you're always going to make sure that you break the ceilings. I think for me, this is only the beginning. There's very much more to come. And I think one of the things I'd like to see is changing a woman at a time in terms of where we are financially, and actually helping each one of us to actually break those generational curses. Remember, I said my fear is being poor. And I think being poor, it's a curse that we're born into. But it's each and every one of us that is sitting here, including myself, that we can actually make sure that we're doing it. And I think through education and financial planning, that is a voice that I found to say, how do I help women to actually do that?
I don't know where to start. So with me, I think, in short, I would summarize to say it can be done. Why I'm choosing that is because of, in my journey in sports, we started with no role models, with no women who were doing sports. And my biggest challenge was to say, how would we make other women believe that something can be done? So in all the boards that I served in, including boxing, which I know it was a big issue, being a woman and also coming from Limpopo and boxing being big in the Eastern Cape, I had to show people that it can be done, and I've done that. And my biggest achievement this year was to do something that no one in South Africa have done. That's hosting 2 World Cups in succession, January and February, being the chairperson of the LOC, and hosting very successful 2 World Cups, which actually at the end, we broke every record of the ICC, which is our international cricket board. So, oh, by the way, I serve in the cricket board of South Africa.
Where's Casey?
So that was my biggest one. So, yeah, in summary.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Tepo Matabata, and I believe that you can be your dream. I'm a professional image consultant, and I help people, professionals in particular, align their image with their goals. I've been doing this since 2012. I speak on many stages with the intention to inspire and to connect people to people that will enable them to become their dream. Women have supporting and enabling environments, but the information does not reach them timelessly. And I live every blessed day to ensure that the information you need reaches you in time for you to take action and deliver the change that your life needs. So in short, that's what I do. My biggest moment wasn't a moment, but a process that resulted in me realizing that it's ecosystems that ensure we thrive. And our responsibility is to identify or create, co-create ecosystems that will ensure that you are secure in your position, that you're secure in your position enough that you can proceed to personal develop, knowing that you are anchored somewhere, and even in your absence, there are people that will speak up for you. We live in fear of being replaced, and that is why we come across as competitive, as misogynist towards one another as women. So for me, really realizing that ecosystems is what ensures sustainability is my biggest achievement. And I ensure that women plug into ecosystems where they are stable enough to focus on personal development, ensure that you are adding value continuously where you are, and that is how you keep your place, not by pushing over other women.
Thank you. Now, ladies, I did send questions, phrases yesterday, so I'm just going to throw it at you. The first one, I don't know who to actually give it to, but let's give it to Ntambi. We say, you know, as much as change can be difficult, lonely, and messy, why is it important to navigate and create the change for a woman in sport, in leadership?
I think it's important because there are so many women who look up to us. And if we don't make change, we are not helping the system. And you are talking about the ecosystem, and that's the ecosystem I'm referring to. So when let me give an example about cricket. I was the only woman out of 14 men. And I immediately realized that this is not the setup that I would want to live. And I started actually identifying men who are liberated within the board, who can become my teammates, for them to push the agenda of bringing more women into the board. And we did that. We managed to bring 2 women. And this year, out of rotation, there was a push of bringing 3 men into the board. And what I was happy about was the fact that the same men, because the people who vote are men, it's not us, where they actually couldn't vote for the last person because there was no a woman in that list. And it was because of I was playing my own role at the back. And then the elections were suspended, and they went back. The list came back again. There was no woman in the list. And they always come back to me to say, what do we do now? And I was saying, even if it means for us to disband the committee, let's do that. But we cannot continue with a nomination committee that only nominate women, your men. And the last time I started realizing how much power do I have when more men were starting to negotiate with me because of some of the men wanted somebody in the list. And I kept on saying, write a letter back and say we don't agree. And they wrote a letter back, and the new list came back with a woman, and the third woman, actually the fourth woman, is appointed. So to me, it's the issue that if you are in, and if you don't make change, the change won't happen because of if some of us are not fighting for change, and even how difficult it is, make sure that you fight for it, even if it means you will lose. And I was at a certain stage raising the issue of saying I will actually resign if we are not getting more women, because this organization, then it means that it's not an organization that I could serve on. So I think we need to actually be bold and actually be prepared to move out if change is not happening.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Lwandile. The youth, the supposed youth. It's about knowing who you are, what you stand for, and then having the courage to be yourself in every situation, rather than when it's convenient. It's about being real, consistent, congruent. So who you are on the inside is reflected by the way that you perform. Why is that so important in leaving a leadership legacy?
I think the beauty of multifaceted structures that have multiple leaders is that you're going to have different ideas and thinking all at the same time. And all of us do things differently and see things differently. We struggle with it in the younger generation. I use my cell phone for everything. Sometimes you'll see me sitting in a board meeting on my phone and you think, oh, Facebook. No, I've just taken 3 pages of notes, you know, or I've just read a couple of things on but certain generations aren't used to just operating on the cell phone like that. So sometimes if you've got leaders who aren't understanding, you need to give me my space to be optimally useful. And if that is it for me, then that is it for me, you know?
Can you start with this mic? It's low, we can't pick up what you say.
Speak louder, Lwandile. You have a big voice, is it?
It's off.
What's happening with technology and youth?
Hey! It's a bad combination.
It's sabotage of the youth here.
Of the youth.
And I think it's quite critical. I mean, my first national leadership position, I assumed at South African Hockey at the age of 24. You know, people my age were not giving a damn about what is happening on the hockey field at 24. But it's what I wanted to do. But we have to be open to new perspectives and new ideas and new ways of doing things, and even different ways. I always laugh at my friend next to me here, and I'm like, yo, Mkanam, you have drama, you know? But sometimes one thing that we lack a lot as female leaders is audacity. And sometimes you just have to have audacity. Sometimes you just have to walk into the room and say, I want what is going to happen here, and it will happen at all costs. I mean, I count one of my proudest moments was as a 25-year-old in a boardroom being asked to make tea. And I was the furthest from the urn, you know, and I was the only girl in the boardroom. So, like, I acted like an idiot, and I was like, why? And everyone was like, huh, what do you mean? I'm like, no, why me? Because that gentleman is closer to the urn. Why are you asking me who's across the room from the urn? You know, and it immediately made those guys go, yo. We actually did a bias there of asking this lady to make us tea that I don't even drink that time, but I was being asked to make tea. So I think it is the differences in perspectives that have to be utilized, and a lot of learning that you can take. And some of us have different personalities. Sometimes I must even draw on the personality of my friend sometimes and just go boom if I need something to happen. Whereas maybe you're a more composed thinker, maybe a calmer, you know, but it is the great thing about being in a board or in a team setup is the amalgamated thought and the differences in thinking that all lead to one common unity of purpose. If we're all moving in the same direction, it doesn't matter what steps we're taking. All right, some of us are going to have smaller feet and are going to be running like this behind the ones who are busy, right? But at the end of the day, we're all going to get there. So I think it is important to bring a touch of your own self and a way of your own self into a group, because we all learn something from some elements of ourselves.
Cecilia, am I audible? No? Yeah, I am now? Okay. You know, a lot of the times, like, okay, you and I talk, and seeing journeys and stuff. A lot of the times, we are made to believe we are victims of what is happening to us. And a lot of women adopt that victim mentality. How do you break through that?
Monira, I'm going to start by saying stop being a victim, start being a victor. The moment you start thinking you're a victim, you'll see negative in everything you do. You'll never see positivity. I always say to people say when people throw stones at you, build a mansion. I say everybody these days stays in the mansion. I'll build a castle, which is something that none of us think of building. So victimization starts with yourself. If you believe that you're a victim, you will be a victim. How you handle issues, I think my friend on my side goes, Umngani wami, we call her, she'll refer to me, I'll refer to her. She'll always say to me, I remember she said something to me after I was elected as the Netball South Africa president, says, Mngani wami, the way you've got drama, wena. I wonder how you cope and do all these things. Then I said, I'm not going to be a victim of a situation or circumstances. I'm going to overcome that and tell myself that one thing that we miss as women and why we consider ourselves as victims all the time, I'll tell you what is the main problem about us. We don't understand our worth. We don't understand our value. That's why every time when something happens, it's like, why are they targeting me? Mina, when something happens, I say, bring it on. We were talking about something, Mina Mngani wami, which is personal. That is, and says, Mngani wami, how did you do it? And we realized that actually we were targeted by the same people in different ways. And when we look at the bigger picture, it's not us who are targeted. They're afraid to target certain people, but they're targeting them through us because they think we are the softies, only to find out that we are the hard nuts to crack. Because believe you me, as a leader where you're sitting, Ntambi has been tried and tested. Many a times. Ask me, I'll tell you about it. Ria, I don't know why she's still standing. I'm asking myself why she's still standing. With all the things that were coming to her. And she's still standing. Because they did not play victims. They played victors in all situations. So we must stop saying, you know what, I'm all over with AfriForum, with DA, with Freedom Front. I'll say it up loud. I know they will see this and I don't care. Because I'll do what I have to do. Because we are so limited in doing what we must do and in doing the purpose that God has sent us to do. Because we always want to play victims, not victors. Start changing your mind. I always say when you think positive things will attract. You'll attract them, they'll come to you. When you think negative things will attract you. Mina, that's what I was saying to Says Queen. Now I'm beautiful, says. I don't have to be told. I must say that, I must declare that to myself first before somebody declares it to me. I must say I'm a warrior before I want somebody to tell me I'm a warrior. I must say I'm a woman that your mother warned you about. That is that woman that is going to tap into places that you never thought I would tap into. I was telling Luandile, Mngani, I'm challenging you. You are leading the gender of SASCOC. I'm the only black female president in all 76 federations of this country. I said to her, it's wrong. It can't be. I cannot be sitting and be rejoicing and saying, I'm the only female black president. It's wrong. It doesn't talk to the demographics of this country. Something needs to be done. And when we counted, actually we found that when we count presidents that are there not looking at women, we are only 3. black president in the whole of Saskok. And I'm like, something is wrong. Something is definitely wrong. Something needs to change. But if somebody's going to play a victim and say, I'm going to sit back and say, I'm the victim, I always say, things happen to you to be able to learn. My brother, I love him so much. He's my pillar of strength. He always says to me, intelligent people learn from other people's mistakes. Only stupids want to experience. If you know that somebody has passed here, that's why you'll play a victim, because you want to experience. But when you know that you are not born to be a victim and you believe it, it starts with you. I always say everything else in life starts with yourself. So ladies, stop being victims. Be victors.
But the behavior of your surroundings does not permit. How do you go with your beliefs and still achieve what you need to achieve?
I think, you know, as a woman, and especially growing up in society. Not switch it on. Is it on now? Yes. Okay. I think as a woman and around society, there's a whole lot of societal norms that we are expected to abide by or conform to. And it's very difficult. And I think I remember as a you know, a very funny story. Growing up in the township, there's this thing of, as a young girl, you know, and teenage pregnancy, and you know. So out of all my friends, there was always this notion that, she's gonna get pregnant. But one of the wisest things I learned is that you always have to choose. If you know how to choose, you can stand by your beliefs. Because no one will come and tell you otherwise, because you have figured out what it is that is going to work for you. And a lot of the times, what is going to work for you, it's not that it's going to work for everyone else. You understand? And I think that's where you need to actually make peace with that decision, to say, I'm not going to be liked. I'm not going to be popular. I'm not going to be other people's favorite cup of tea. And it's okay. You know, you came alone, then you're going to go alone. And it's not about rubbing people the wrong way. And I'm not saying be arrogant, but I'm saying know who you are and actually show up as you. If your beliefs are ones that are supported by everything you do and are aligned with how you show up. Because sometimes you say, I'm this kind of a person, but when you show up, you show as someone different. And that's where the questions then come in. When you say, this is me, this is Queen, this is what you're going to get, show up as that. You know, support those beliefs, support those values that you are actually conducting yourself with. The society is always going to want to box you in a certain way. Society is always going to want to say, this is who you are. You know, and in the corporate world as well, and you know something that Cecilia said is that as a woman, you're expected to actually behave in a certain way towards other women in terms of being more lenient, being not more instructional, being more understanding and stuff like that. Forgetting that if you go through childbirth, I went through childbirth as well. But that does not mean that every time my child coughs, I'm taking time off to go look after my child. I need to understand, how do I create a balance, you know? So, and I think as a woman, there's sometimes a lot more that is expected from us to show up as than who we actually are. So I think I'm one person that, you know what, this is me. I know who I am. I don't wait for someone else to come and tell me who I'm supposed to be. And as long as I am intent and, you know, and I'm very clear around that, anything else can come will not move me. But one of the most important things as well, as much as I am in my belief system, I need to be able to embrace other people. It's important to understand that who I am, who Lwandile is a very different kind of a person. How do I learn to bring Lwandile into my space without trying to change or shift her beliefs to my own? But actually say, she might be a Catholic, I might be a ZCC, but how do I then embrace what she believes in without feeling as though it's imposing on me? and being able to create that respect between ourselves. You know, respecting each other doesn't mean we have to change each other. The problem with human beings is that when we go in each other's worlds, we are always continually trying to change people from being who they are and being what we want them to be. So let's stop boxing each other. We're different human beings with different value systems, with different belief systems. But I think when you are when you know, when you are okay with who you are. And you know, one of the questions that I remember when I was young is being asked who you are. And one thing I can tell you, when you're 22, you don't know who you are. But when you're 48, a lot of the experiences and a lot of the challenges you've gone through and a lot of a lot of burning that you've gone through actually allow you to actually learn and actually understand who you are. And what you could tell me at 22 right now would tell you, hey, you can go jump. Because I'm very confident in who I am and what I believe in, and nothing is going to shift that.
Thank you. Tsepo, within the space that you're in, you come across a lot of entrepreneurs and people trying to start business, run business. Everything is a business today. And they always say that the biggest downfall of your entrepreneurs and your business people is discipline. Why is discipline so key?
Sure. It's such a loaded question. I think the critical thing in entrepreneurship is your why. And that then informs what level of discipline is required at a certain time. You would know any business goes through cycles. And the beauty about cycles is that it's like a circle. So where you started, you're going to pass there again somewhere along your journey. So having done something once, and I think we don't value repetition enough.
Yes.
Understanding that business works in cycles. Where you started, you're going to pass again at some point in your business. 2019, COVID, demonstrated that a lot of us had to go right to the beginning of our why we have a business. And it took discipline to get to that point where you are now asking yourself relevant questions. And I think the first step of discipline is honesty. You know, what is your level of honesty with self? Because when you're not honest with you, there's no way you can be disciplined in anything. So having a certain level of self-awareness, you will know what to pull on when. And that will ensure that when that time comes for you to be disciplined in a particular scenario, you are. So I think self-awareness is the foundation of discipline. Because then you would know from where I am, this is where I need to go, and what will it require? And then you make the commitment. So self-awareness for me is the first step. Because when you are delusional about self, there's no way in which you can add value anyway, and you will not see growth. No matter how much discipline you apply, if it's applied to the wrong thing, it will not give you the results that you need.
Give discipline to what needs discipline, or attention to it. Ntambi would like to add something.
No, I don't want to add something. Is it on? Okay. I don't want to add something on this. I want to add my view on what Cecilia was asking earlier about women not supporting other women. And I want to use my experience that sometimes you have to live without support. Because of when you wait for that support, you lose focus. Because of you are now fighting a lot of things to say they are not supporting me, they are not doing whatever. And I learned that during my SASCOC issue. Because of, I then realized that I'm alone. Even women who used to call me were not even calling me just to say, how are you? And then I then had to focus on the battle. So sometimes I think you have to do that. You have to forget about people not supporting you and focus on what are the issues and resolve those issues. So Cecilia, it's not always that people will support you. But sometimes, and also that's another thing that I've learned, sometimes people are so afraid of the issue that you are dealing with that they are even afraid to call you because of they don't want to be associated with you at that time. So you have to accept that. It's not that they don't like you. It's not that they don't support you. It's because of fear, because we are not the same. Some of the issues that we are dealing with are too high for other people. So we have
It's at an elevated level.
we have to accept them.
It's true, guys, you know.
Exactly.
It's true.
We have to accept that. And don't be angry with people who are not supporting you. They're not supporting you not because of they don't understand your issue. They're not supporting you because of, and also they have other issues to deal with. Because of all of us, we have other issues. So you might be saying, oh gosh, I agree with Cecilia, but I'm not creating time to call Cecilia because of I'm dealing with other issues. So Cecilia and all other women, don't always expect other women to support you and start making it an issue. Because that's one issue that I don't like, where in conference, and I'm happy today when you haven't mentioned it, that women pull each other down. There's nothing like that. It's a human behavior. It's not women. Men does that. They even do that to us. It's a human behavior, but we are now giving it a name and taking it and own it. It's not that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add to that as well?
You see, I told you guys, my panelists speak too much.
Eish.
They speak too much. I'll give it to you, and I'm already being disciplined on this side. But before you go, it goes back to the victim mentality. A lot of the times, you know, there was a young lady last week that said, if you've been a sports administrator and you haven't cried and woke up the next day and said, it's fine, I'm going to do this again, then you're not a sports administrator. And she was so right about what she said. And it's true that at times you don't have the mental capacity to stand up and say. But there are times, yes, when people are just scared and they don't want to. But if you believe that I'm not a victim, because a lot of the times, as you were speaking and you're saying, you know, sometimes people can't do it or whatever, because we are also kept occupied with other issues because they know that she's going to gravitate towards there. So we need to keep her occupied. And it's the reality, and it's what happens. But the minute you don't believe, because remember the idea is for you to believe that you are a victim. And the minute you don't believe that, it was actually something Hloni said the other day, where she said, you know, people will say things about you and they do things, and they want you to cower into a corner and be ashamed of what is being said. But don't be ashamed of that, because you are not that. It's not you. It's not what you are. So don't be ashamed of it. Actually own it. You say, I'm this. Oh, okay, it's fine. Say it. But walk out there and walk out proud and be who you are and understand that you are not the victim in the situation. Luandile, you got 1 minute.
Thanks. I think we also need to redefine, Ausintambi, in agreement with you and Cecilia, what support also looks like. You know, there's circumstances where the chairperson of my judicial body, you know, could seem like she's doing nothing, but she's sitting handling 17 to 18 cases, directly protecting the rights of women in sport. You know, so we must also transition and understand what that support is going to sometimes look like. So while she's busy working, you might say she's not supporting, or while so-and-so is busy working, you might say, but the core of that work is in defense and in the protection of women in sport in general. So I think also let us be open to how support can also take different forms and look different than what we are usually accustomed to.
You said it all in 1 minute. Wow.
Can
Okay,
I
I'm
make a
going
small comment?
Sure.
I think,
Don't kill me.
you know, from what Mama said, and I heard the amount of passion, it makes me think of something that in life, we just need to remember that there's certain journeys that you need to walk on your own.
Yeah.
No one is there to hold your hand, and there's a reason why. You will not grow unless you can face and walk certain journeys by your own. And look at it in a way that there's purpose and a reason why you are on that journey on your own, and it's your own growth path. So no one else must experience the same experience that you had. It's uniquely made for you by God. So embrace it and see how you maneuver it.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies. I'm going to hand over to my program director. So somebody here with the camera. I'd like a picture with my panelists, please. Thanks. While she
There
gets the
is
questions.
always.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna. So we're now entered into the Q&A part of this particular panel. I see that there is one hand raised, and as MC Makoma mentioned, we're literally just gonna have one round of this. So those of you who have noted certain questions while the panelists were speaking, I see 2 hands at the back, 3, 4. Just in one section. Wow. Let me see if I can get another microphone. So, ma'am, okay, at the back, the gentleman, while they're doing PR. This is called PR.
Sorry, the people with the cameras, check us first before you take it.
Stomach in.
Stomach in.
Are you happy with the breathing?
I'm the only one without breath. I'm the only one without breathing. I'm flat.
Hey, the struggle is real.
Eish.
All right, thank you, ladies. So could we kindly get the first question from the gentleman at the back? Kindly introduce yourself and get straight into the question.
Greetings all. My name is Dr. PJ Snowmadi. I'm a commissioner at Limpopo Academy of Sports for Health and Scientific. My question, but maybe I'll start with a comment. They say, give me an African prince, I'll rule the world. Maybe give me Africa, I'll rule the world. Or an African queen, I will rule the world. If you give me, yes, if you give me Africa, that's what other part of the world are saying about us. But I'm not sure if we realize the value and the wealth that we do have as Africa. For us to participate in sports, I know it's mainly for longevity in health and also longevity in sports. But my question is, with these given resources in Africa, we then realize, as much as there are so much resources around us in terms of minerals and so on, we then realize how expensive it is to be this athlete, especially coming from a rural background. What is it that we are doing and what is it that we can do to fund, as a rural girl, to get funding, to access funding so that I can be this athlete I want to be? But the second part is how healthcare, how much informed are we in terms of taking care of our bodies? I've seen at Comrades Marathon where African boys and girls, they run vale fela fela. Without this, as they run on, they say, I don't need to eat anything because if I eat, food is going to disturb me. Or else it's going to take support from other people that he doesn't know on the road. And some, I'm saying, are they able to perform extremely well as you expect? The question is, what is it that we need to do as Africans, as Limpopoans, to assist our athletes to get proper medical attention? Talking about, first of all, pre-participation medical checkup. You can tell how much expensive it can be, whereby people end up going just for athletic meetings or so on without any preparation, not knowing how they, without any fitness. But at the same time, are there programs in the province that assist our people other than government? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Kindly do note that we, have been running a bit late with this program. And so when you do pose a question, please do pose one question and go straight to the point. We'll be taking the second hand. Most of the questions were in this section, yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. My name is Lolanga Monica. I do have a question, or a rhetoric question. I'm just not too sure whether it will go to Ausintambi or who. How long are we going to, as women in this hall, going to do a paradigm shift and understand that 90% of the time, while we are agreeing that there's no such a thing as pull hair syndrome, but how long are we gonna understand that the lady gentlemen that are here will always use us as women to fight against each other?
Hey.
Because in 90% of the time, we are fighting amongst each other. When you try and do a check, there's a man in between who is making us to fight. Or who will come and dangle a carrot and say, we want you on this position. At the same time, they go to another woman and say, we want you to contest her. And then as for the other positions, it's okay. This is for a male, a male, a male. But where the woman is, there's contestation. So it needs us to do a paradigm shift. And until such time that we talk about it, the young women that are in here will never understand. Instead, they will fight us, the ones that have been in the system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm Stella Matebula. My question is on the issue of the participation of women in sport, which we always reiterate that is always on the decline. The issue that I want to focus on is on the issue of retention of skills that any sector might have invested in women. I'll give an example to put my question across so that I don't waste time. In the sector that we are operating in, wherein government and private sector have invested in skills for women. However, as the women progress into higher roles, there's always a connotation that says, you can no longer go there and stand for position of power or leadership because you are now in a government position. I wanted to give an example with the lady who was sitting next to me, who is a school principal. Government has invested a lot in her. However, she is time and again being barred from occupying positions of authority, but I like what President Cecilia said. She is not turning herself into a victim, but she's standing up there, going there and stand for position of authority. Now, why are we imposing these kind of limitations? But when you try to check policy that stops women from participating further, you can't find any. But maybe today that we've got experts, we will be able to get a relevance in saying there are policies that bars women who are school principals like this one from standing for this particular position, because I'm struggling to find those since I'm a government official, and I realize we are on a decline in terms of performance. Let me give an example of school sport. But when I look at the teachers who we have trained in all these positions, who are now curriculum advisors and principals, who are saying they can't go and coach, they cannot go and be administrators, when we can easily tap into them and we be a winning contributor to the nation. Thanks.
Thank you. Fourth hand, and that's the last question. All right, there's, okay, yes.
I don't think this is a question, actually. I just wanted to say that, in my federation, I tell people when they tell me that I am being audacious or I am being bringing up too many issues, I tell them that's okay. Because at the end of the day, I am not there to be nice. I'm actually there to deal with the matter that's on the table. And if I don't agree, or if I have comments, or if I have anything to say about the matter that's on the table, regardless of who brings it to the table, then I must speak up. Because if I don't do that, then I am not fulfilling my duty as in the position that I have been given. So what I'm saying is that we need to also be strong and own what we are doing and how we want to be. And when other people say, oh, you know, she's too aggressive, it's always said so that you can be put down, so that you get scared and say, oh, because you don't want to be seen that way. And I think we must move away from that. We must own who we are. Sorry, it wasn't a question.
Thank you, noted. We'd like the responses.
Thank you so much. I would give Ntambi this one for a reason. The first question that was asked, ke kgopela ho se Ntambi a yarabe. Ya di athletes. The medical part. And
No, the medical part, it's SASCOC.
No. I was saying, it's in two parts. That's what I'm saying. I was going to say Ntambi and then she follows on the medical part because he touched two parts. To say, how do we support that athlete? And then he says, medically. Then the support part, I want it to come from you for a reason, and you know why. They only hear why I'm saying that. And then the medical part will come from this side. You'll understand, because we understand where what should go. Unfortunately, we are that panel that understand where what should go. But I'm going to answer Stella. And say,
I want to answer Chloe.
Yeah, you can, Bona, you can mix them. You can mix them. Okay. So, Stella, I'm going to answer you and start by saying, you know, don't want to be liked, want to be remembered. Our problem is we want to be liked, not to be remembered. Now I don't want you to like me. Let me put it straight. But I want you to remember what I've done and what path I've went to go through that. Because liking me, it's not an issue, because I'm not lesbian, Samatomo. I do men, I like them. I love them. So I don't want to be liked. Secondly, I want to say, the worst enemy of a woman is another woman. Whether we like it or not, we are not going to talk about it. It's the truth. The moment you see another woman go up, it's rare you find the support. I mean, I've got support of women who are in higher places. They will go, Munira says, as she says, she's calling me. Don't think that she's bluffing you because she's here. No, she will call me and say, we've got this issue. How do we go deal with it? I mean, I'll call Mama Maria at any time and say to her, I want you to do this and that for me. President, I'm so and so. I said, Mama Maria, this time go I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Because sometimes I have to put my foot down to that level to show how I respect her. I'll call Ausintambi and say this and that, and she says, Ausintambi. This is how we should be. This one, we call each other Mgani, but then we argue a lot, guys. You don't even understand how we argue. But we argue because we have the same thing, that is passion of the sport and how to grow sport and women in the category we are at. I want to say something to you, Stella, and very simple. Policies are made by people. Policies are changed by people. I don't want to hear people say policy that, policy that, policy that. A policy is made by human beings. It shall be changed by human beings. So if a policy is not talking to you, gather people and say, we are being oppressed here. And the other thing is, as women, we want to be everywhere. I cannot be a president of Netball South Africa and be a coach of the team of Netball South Africa and be a manager of Netball South Africa. I must choose what I want to be. We always want to be everywhere. The policy must talk to where you want to be and where you want to be capacitated. Mina Ntambi challenged me and said, think twice. Do you want to be the coach or do you want to be the president? And I said, I was in Ntambi. I man, why would you choose the way? Namar. Why we not choose? Because of we see what we did wrong, we want to rectify that. So, Cecilia, you must choose, you must be that person. It was tough for me to say I want to be a president because I was a passionate coach. But she says to me, we want somebody who can go and change netball. I know it's something that you don't want to do, but at this moment you have to do it. And look where I am today. Because I listened when somebody said, not this, that. So to us, we want to say, here's the MEC. Challenge her and say, your policy doesn't talk to me as an employee to do what I love most. I love basketball. Stella, we all know that you're a basketball person. You know, you have to challenge the MEC and say, I'm here. I mean, I'm outspoken. I get about the post department. So I'll say it as it is. I get post. So it's a question of talk to the MEC, say the policies are not addressing us, are not talking to us. It's killing the passion that we have. If Betty is a principal of a school, she must decide whether she wants to be chairperson of school in Limpopo or a coach. She cannot be both. She must decide, she must guide, whether I'm in leadership or I'm in this operational matter. So the moment we change that mind shift and say, this is what we want to do, we will go further. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones who are making these policies. We said something that I liked, or it was said in the first parliament, you iterated on that. Change is very difficult. It's very difficult. I can tell you now, I've got a new CEO, yeah. Hey, I'm giving a headache every day. Every time. And I understand where she's coming from. She's a corporate woman. She wants things to be done in a corporate way. And she wants to take netball to another level. But we are so much resistant because we are comfortable in our own space, in our own skin. Then I said to myself, Cecilia, it's whether you embrace the change or you move for this woman to do the job that she has to do. So, and sometimes being in positions for a long time, let's talk about that. It disturbs. Because umela mafufa, mo duching. Wamela mafufa, because when nobody can tell you anything about something, give people a chance. I mean, I'm not liked right now because of, we changed the constitution of Netball South Africa that didn't have a term, I was in Tampi. A constitution of Netball South Africa never had a term. People say, why do you change it to have a term? Because Ira will not have a president for life. That's what I don't want. I want somebody to take over the baton and do something. So that's why it should have a term. Because we want to stay there and own the positions and own there. And you know what? Sometimes when you are too much and too long on a position, you don't think anymore. You don't think. So ladies, please, policies are made by people, policies are changed by people, and move for the young generation to come in. I thank you.
Release them.
Yeah, I think I have to now handle the boring policy questions. The first one, I think the policy about school teachers and so forth might be a Limpopo one. Nationally, we are very clear that if you're working in the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, you cannot serve on our structures because you cannot distribute money and still then come back and manage us on the other side. So there has to be some sort of segregation. But under no circumstances would you be keeping doctors who work at public hospitals, teachers, etc., out of positions. It's those people who are serving directly the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, which is a principal department upon which we report to, and that services us in particular ways. We like to caution a lot on a high performance level about changing the health makeup of individuals. One of the greatest stories that SASCOC will tell you was the story of Josiah Tukwane's diet when he was the first black person to win a medal at the Olympics for South Africa. They had to fly in Ipapa, because yes, they had to fly it in. Because he said, listen, if I want to run this marathon, I need to run it in the way and on the fuel that I am accustomed to. Now, if we had told him to go and eat couscous, we might be discussing a different story of that historical medal at the time. So I would caution if you're trying to anglicize or westernize too much some of our health aspects. Casta will tell you she's better fueled by pap and eggs, and for example, which would not be categorized in other areas as a superfood. So I think we have to be very clear about particularly doing it to African athletes and trying to change their composition. Sometimes there is far greater nutritional value in the foods we grew up eating as Africans than the couscous and the quinoas and the whatever else. So on that level, I don't know if that policy, if it's a Limpopo policy, please let us know. Bra Ali will let me know and we'll discuss. But I know SASCOC did its constitution just recently and we were clear. It's only those who service the particular Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. We cannot close out any other government employee if there is a segregation of duties.
I'm fine, eh? Yes, I had to resign from Netball South Africa because of I was joining the department. Yeah. So the issue around supporting athletes from rural areas, I think there are a lot of things that we need to look at. And I think one of our challenges is our sub-regional structures, both from local government and from the department. Because of, at every community, there are structures that are formed, but also in the province, you do have the academy, and I think the academy can actually also assist with that support. But I'm not sure whether the academy now, you do have the sub-academies in different districts. Yes, so I think my advice is to look for that support at that level. The issue that though you were raising, it's an issue of empowerment. So talking about women are pulling each other down and forever, it doesn't change women. But the unfortunate part of it, my 2000 habahola, they are growing up knowing women pull each other down, they do the same. So that's why I don't want us to be going on preaching that. But all we have to do is to empower women. And that's why through SAWAFs, we do 2 trainings. One, it's advocacy. And through our advocacy, you remember we were doing the training here. Through advocacy, we then start training women on understanding the dynamics especially elections, because of that's where women start fighting during elections. And I have experienced that. I have experienced that where I was called names by women. But the point is, one, is that take time, because I'm a seasoned administrator. So it's not for me to then say they're calling me names and then they are my enemies. It's for me to actually then say, that's my target for education. So that I empower them, for them to understand that tomorrow it will be them. Because you know what, it doesn't happen that you do that quite often and you are a woman who's used for a long time. They use you and dump you. They eat you like chippies. I'm telling you. So educate women and make sure that women understand that this is temporary, and then very soon you would be in the same area. The other area that we have is mentorship program, where through mentorship, actually we make sure that we touch all those issues. But we cannot go on calling women certain names whilst they are not. Because sometimes people say it in general, and when you say it in general, you are saying all of us. So let's avoid using those terminologies and actually deal with the issue. What is the problem is the fact that especially women who are coming in, who are ambitious, who think in 3 years they will be the vice president. So we need to educate them to then say, lady, here, where you are coming, this is the environment. And you have to know how to maneuver into these areas. We have gone through this path. We know how challenging it is. And please do things the right way. I mean, we can write a book, me and Osria, about elections and how women treated us. But I don't want to concentrate on that. I won't write such book. Because that, to me, is not important. The important thing is to empower women.
In closure, Austhebo.
Thanks. Empowered women empower women. The only time you will find a woman not empowering others is because she herself is lacking. And we need to be able to identify this and fix it. We need to fix it. And fixing it means that we need to bring ideas on how to turn the corner. On the issues, the politics in structures, our inability to mobilize will be our downfall. Where and how are you expressing your ideas? There needs to be consistency. The only time we hear from you can't be in a session like this. Some leaders are hearing about these issues for the first time because you have not given yourself the responsibility to make sure that your ideas get heard. Fortunately, I'm a specialist in that. Let's help you package these ideas, give you the platforms to express them so that you are able to influence people to back you. How do we elect leadership? Let's look at what needs to be done. What is our strategy as women in sport in Limpopo? Are we saying that we want more women representative in decision-making bodies so our views can find expression? Or are we saying we want more women to participate? Let's quantify it. We need a generational mission as women in sport in this province, in the country, so that our leaders' jobs is easy. When leaders know what you want, they will know how and when to get it, how and where to get that delivered to you. The challenge is you are not articulating and expressing your ideas. You're quick to point to the politics. That won't help us. If there's a leader that is left wanting, tell us. We're here. Let us go and help them do what they need to do so they can do what you need them to do, and we can get what we all want.
Thank you, ladies. I did say they talk a lot.
Yeah, no, you did, hey? And now it was a lived experience. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd love you to please give a hand or a round of applause for the leadership and legacy panels as they adjourn down the stage. Thank you so much.
No, I can't go without saying this. If you want a job done, send a woman. It shall be done.
Shamanaya. Now you see why they were on the leadership and legacy panel. These are pools, eh? So you guys chose very well. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much for the engaging conversation. We are reaching towards the close of our, our summit. And with that, I would like to kindly call upon Auskomo Sidibe, who will be coming in and speaking about the Run for Cancer initiative. And after that, please prepare yourself, Ms. Bridget Bengu, Uzozalanga Pambili, and 5 minutes each will be given for the presentations, and then after that, we will then close for lunch. So, yeah. Can we kindly give a round of applause for Auskomo?
Afternoon, Basadi Baba Pila. Before I start, my name is Otepeng Selete. I'm with Khomotso Sidibe. She's the project manager for SA Run for Cancer, and I'm the founder for SA Run for Cancer. So the reason why I'm here with you, I want you to give each other a word of encouragement. So can we kindly rise all and just break the ice? I want you, beautiful women, to repeat after me. We rise by lifting each other. I am a survivor and a rekaofela. I am affected and rekaofela. And I saw a little one here. Where is she? She's out. Oh, I wanted her to say for me, I am the future. Together we rise. Basadi. Diamata. SA Run for Cancer Ultra Marathon. It's one of the biggest races here in Limpopo. It was founded by two women, Khomotso Sidibe and Otshepeng Seletse. It came about a family history that we went through. I lost a partner through lymphoma cancer, and then he is the brother to Khomotso. Because of the family that we were affected by this particular kind of cancer of lymphoma, we decided that through this ordeal that we went through, me and her, and me myself personally as he was my partner, it was a way to tell our community and people that we are going through this. We want to engage the entire community of cancer, the people who are in the same situation that we are, that we came up with this marathon so that we can be able to socialize with different kind of cancers that each and every one of in our community going through. So the race is a 48-kilometer race. It starts there by Stephen Lamba intersection. It finishes at the old Peter Mokaba Stadium. We have other categories that it has. Is a 32, 21, and we also have for social runners the 10 and 5 kilometer. So we would like to encourage each and every woman here in this platform to come and participate and support, because of now is Breast Cancer Month and we are engaging into addressing issues of breast cancer. So we are saying that come on board, come be with us on the 28th of October to come and participate for someone affected, for someone infected, for someone who's going through this particular kind of cancer, and support each other. As I said, together we rise to beat cancer. So Khomotso will take over from here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Khomotso Sidibe. We just want to take this opportunity to thank the President, Mr. Pole, and the entire membership. We just want to thank you for the opportunity that you have given us as an SA Run for Cancer. As women as well, we thank you that you gave us this opportunity to come down and to say, as young women, we can do this. And we just want to take an opportunity to thank our MEC, Mama Nakedi, the opportunity to be part of SA Run for Cancer. We are partnering with them as well. And we thank you for Basadi Kamuka. And we just want to say to all of you, can we have a support? As women, we go and approach different companies for this engagement. This is not a small marathon, it's a big marathon. We are competing with Soweto, we are competing with so many marathon in SA, not even in the province. So this is it's not our as Run for Cancer, it's all of us. It's our program as a province. So we really appreciate you, and we want to see you, all of you, on next week, 28, Run for Cancer is happening in Peter Mokaba Stadium. Please come and celebrate, as Tepi said, and celebrate those who are infected, especially for the runners, the social runners that we have for 10 and 5. Those ones, they come and run for their families. They come and run for those. They've lost mothers. They've lost families for this thing that is so cruel to us. So come as many as you can. Even next year, we really want to appreciate, to say, come and support us. We are starting this. This is the 4th year we are doing this, and we are coming back after the COVID. That is, it took us in and out, but we are saying we are here next year. Can we kindly have more support from different companies? Thank you so much.
For Run for Cancer. Thank you so much, ladies. I also have two uncles of mine that passed on from cancer, so I completely understand and resonate with your stance and your vision. With these words, I'd like to call upon Ms. Joyce Cho, who will be coming to represent Avon. Can we please give her a round of applause as she comes and speaks to us? Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Mama.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, my glasses first. Should just start by smiling. Good day, everyone. Oh, okay. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joyce Tweu Nimagato. I'm the sales leader from Avon. I'm here on behalf of Bridget Bengu, Avon Executive for Corporate Affairs, who unfortunately could not make it. So I'm representing her. I'm proud to be standing in front of you today on a very special occasion. It's too near. What makes this event special is that it happens in the middle of World Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is an international campaign to raise awareness of breast cancer, to educate people about the importance of regular tests and early detection, and to raise funds for research, treatment, and cure of this silent killer. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm almost certain that during the course of our lives, many of you have someone who has been diagnosed with breast cancer. The increasing incidence of breast cancer diagnosis indicates the prevalence of this silent killer, which remains one of the most common variants of cancer in women of all races. According to the National Cancer Registry, 1 in 27 women in South Africa have a lifetime risk of contracting this disease. It is with this grim reality in mind that I'm super proud to be an ambassador of Avon, a company with a purpose that has championed breast cancer awareness for decades. Through the tireless work that Avon has put in breast cancer awareness and supports its NGO partners, the impact of this deadly pandemic has been greatly minimized. We may be winning the battle against breast cancer through increasing awareness of this epidemic, but the war is far from over. I encourage each one of you to support every effort that is being made to arrest this pandemic. In our own social circles, we should destigmatize conversations about breast cancer and make daily self-inspection and annual mammograms the new normal. It should become the new normal. We should do it annually. We should do it often. Silence, myths, and ignorance about breast cancer is the fuel the pandemic needs to destroy our society and claim lives that could have otherwise have been saved. On a lighter note, I'm pleased to be in the midst of greatness. Today, we have in our midst a remarkable young woman who has overcome the odds and put South Africa on the map. Khomotso KG Munjane, is she here? Oh, she'll come in the evening. Oh, okay. on a lighter note, we have Khomotso KG Munchane. She's an outstanding tennis player and a Grand Slam winner who continues to make us proud for the outstanding feats she accomplishes on the world stage. To our KG in absentia, thank you, and thank you. Your accomplishments have made us proud. Keep shining and continue to make your province of Limpopo proud. You are an inspiration to us all. Good girls and boys, are so fit. Now, where is Austria? Wakitima kitim. To Austria Ledwaba, thank you for gracing us with your presence and being part of today's proceedings. We appreciate your love for the Avon brand. Keep doing what you are doing to elevate women's participation and management in sports. Your work reflects and speaks to Avon values of empowering women and unleashing their purpose. I thank you.
Thank you very much from Avon, and thank you very much from Run for Cancer. Ladies and gentlemen, without any waste of time, allow me to call from the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, the Acting Chief Director, Tate Tomi Khomu. Let's give him a round of applause. I'm still waiting for that appointment letter, Tate Khomu.
I'm still waiting for that. Good afternoon. Yeah, I mean, from the side of, I'm waiting for the president of SASCOC to finish. Mama Tabata, I guess this is government speaking now. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is wonderful. You know, when we met in the very same room some 8 months ago, we sat with confederation, we sat with federations, and one of the element and topic that we spoke about, it was also how do we then reward deserving women. And what came up, because Maria Ledwaba came in with this energy. She came in with this energy. And then we said, Sports Confederation, on your business plan, you must write it down. You must write it down and make sure that there is a program for women in sport. We thought of 1 or 2, but Maria thought of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we said, oh, we don't have money. Okay, wait. Then she said, you must have and ring-fence money for women. And then we said, no, it's fine. Then she went on and called another business meeting. Mama Tabata. And Mama Tabata came and said, change the narrative. Stop to be beggars and make sure that you partner with sponsors. I know my colleague in sport, not in government, in sport, the vice president. I thought you will tell them how you became a vice president. That story, I know it. Yeah. So, thank you very much. It's happening, Maria. President, it's happening. We are having the Women's Summit for the first time in Limpopo. But I'm checking with other provinces except Gauteng. They're asking me, the chief directors, how are you doing it? You know, we do have Maria Ledwaba around. Can we give him? The Vice President said we have many opportunities in sport. And it is true. There are many. And you must continue to search and fetch. Just network with women, just network with SASCOC and Confederation, and just network and be honest to each other. If you are honest with yourself, you will then grab those opportunities. Unfortunately, most of you see an opportunity looking like an overall, you think it's a hard work, whereas there is a lot of things inside there. I serve under him in softball, in SASCOC. I was also in the SA softball, so we served. So I know the sports people here. I know Duda here. Duda ke Malechema. And I said in one forum that in the very same hall, he appointed us and even women and requested women to participate. The CC. CC knows Malechema very well. So I'm appreciating you. Makanya, I'm carrying Volkswagen here just to mend. Because when I went out, because we love sponsors. The first people who love sponsors. Volkswagen, even though you say you must not buy cars, Volkswagen took us out during the World Cup tour. Ne? With the whole big car, moving around, painted netball tour. So please, don't hike. Please stop hiking by your own car. Please. So and you can start with Volkswagen. Yeah. Thank you for that financial wellness. I think most of the things is not for women. The very same presentation that we have made, I'll speak to the president. We'll have to make it in front of the whole 33 federations. Here, we'll make it, you come and make that presentation. It's not for women. I was in Tombi Raveli, we come a long way. Thank you. Fight for change. Even if you don't win, just fight for change. That's why we are fighting, we are fighting. So women, that is true. We have seen it and we are achieving. Thank you very much. Boxing, netball, confederation, that's it. Can we give them a hand? At least you didn't talk a lot about business, changing the narrative, Mama Tabata. You spoke about we are afraid of being replaced. Yeah. That is very important. I love that. Somebody says, how does he know it? Because you were not here. Technology. From the Facebook. The Facebook since morning when we had school sports, even there in the funeral. I'm from the funeral. I went to school sport. I went to baseball in Sesheo, Polokwane, Mukopane, Schakape. But Voice Media, you made it possible for me and others to appreciate the work that has been done by women here. We listen to, that's why I can make those comments. La Matsaba Sisi. You don't know Sisi, Cecilia. A wonderful character. I wish she was here, but it's fine. We are proud of her. The fact that she came, you might say he's bossy and what? You must understand where she come from. We knew him before he became the president. We knew him as an athlete. When we were president of sports in Tefluop, she was an athlete. So the experience that he got, the oppression that he got, the double suppression, that's why she's what she is now. So no one could lead netball except her now, at this time where we needed the World Cup. Ntambi came, Now she concluded. Somebody must take over from her. She must go to the world. I wish we could hear one day about is the president of the World Netball Board. Imagine that. Imagine that. Maragaro ba bantši le kgorela mona. Now I'm not jealous. Can you give Cecilia a big hand of applause? I want to also thank the Ranuka. You know, we said here we appreciate it, and we said we'll support you. And we had to come. Fencing, is it fencing? She's leading fencing, and we have seen development, we have seen number of women coming up there. We are supporting you. Thank you for talking about governance, in ethical governance and winning. I love that part. We'll also present that in all federations. I mean, presidents, most of the things, they need everybody. Yeah. And Tabi, managing sports organization, Tabi, she deals with cricket and deal with rural cricket there. She'll be in Ramallah, Pagamatala in some few months to come. But she's the one who introduced the MEC of sports to sports. The first event, it was MEO, and we supported in the very same event. Thank you very much. There's a difference between leading effectively and efficiently. Mar le chair ma le dingwetše ke ra re yo nna ke monate mo ke leng gona ke I'm enriched, right? I'm enriched. So I was listening to that. Right? So please, thanks Sam, Mr. Sam, thank you very much. We appreciate that. We will, as I'm pointing you, the president must jot down. I'm the one who gives him money. I'm government. I'm government. Yeah. You must know them. That's government. Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, for the first time in the history of sport, is hosting the Women's Award. That's government. That's what we call government. Through Sports Confederation. Let me close by thanking everybody who participated, those who came in. But I want to appreciate the ladies. What are the ladies who have been running around with red? The RIA girls. No, you are not alone. There are many. Okay, bring them here just to appreciate them. As I proceed. Yeah. I need them. Let me first thank VW Polokwane, Metropolitan, Old Mutual, Garden Court, Zororo, The Range, Selaki Sport, Netbank, and ABSA and Vodacom. I was just talking to Selaki Sport. He's in France to support Mabogobog. So I'm sure that the camera will take a picture, you together supporting Mabogobog. The president is here to Semelan to lead that. The Netbank, we are thanking you just here. Yeah. These are the most important people in the room who did the dirty work. These ones. Yeah, Sid. So I always appreciate these officials. Can we give them a standing ovation? Let's do that, do that, do that, do that, do that, do that. Yes, 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 do that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. These are the people. They are making sure that you are seated, you are wearing well, they are registering you, they are giving you. Maria, you can come in. Be in the middle, I know. Yeah. Yeah. We want to appreciate you. And when I see this, I smile. Yeah. Thank you. All women team. You can do it. Yeah. I want also to thank Nedbank and ABSA, Vodacom Polokwane Municipality, Avon Par Excellent, Torum Agency, and of course ourselves. It's our role. I mean, if we leave what is the core of the sports development, we are in trouble. In closing, President, I'm leaving this with you. The reason why you see difference in the Department of Sports, you see support, is because when we came in and had a mass meeting here for 33 federations, we concluded that the strategy and tactics must conform with the material condition in place. If there are many women in a rural area and you want football to be played, go to the same women. If you want something to succeed, get the same women. For example, Ukai Stella le Quincy. Stand up. The Betty, Emelamu. Yeah, when we run school sports and they're not there, I'll have a problem. So women are in charge. I came to the department. She was just there, not recognized. But because I knew her from 1993, 92, playing basketball, I then said, why are you there? Let's change the narrative. Thank you very much. No, we need to appreciate these people. I mean, given the netball technical person. So I see the SA run for Kenza. They knocked in my office. I didn't say we don't have money. Then I touched my twin. I agree we are twins, if you are not aware. Then we said we are supporting them. There was no money. From 1994 to 2000, when we were asked to plan, we dream first and put all the things in the bucket. Then you will then divide them after you get the budget. So I see people have taken a different opinion, but we said come in. So on the 28th, we will be there. Don't worry, yeah. Now I'll give you water. Yeah. So, thank you very much. We also said, because of Malachima made us to meet a lot of people while we were young in sports. Around 92, 93, we were there. Malachim, stand up. I'm taking the opportunity. I'm closing.
As we close, very lunch is ready.
Malachima started the academy. A president of the province of Netball. I know my people that are all over here. I'm not doing sports because I want to boss on it. It's my passion. I'm from netball, basketball, all over this morning because it's my passion. Energy gain a weight. So, Malachim taught us the long-term development plan, the long-term athlete coaches development. Before SASCOC could bring us when we were taking the Canadian model, you remember again. Now, I want to tell you that I saw one lady moving around Arakivereki for a year. Phone. But now Academy is led by a woman. Stand up. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. But as sports, arts and culture, we are going to do more with Sports Confederation and with all of you. We don't look at the budget, we just partner with you. You can bring water, you can bring teachers. Now we'll provide technical expertise. Well done. No, true. Because the president here, when he says that, when we were talking, he said, the problem of sports in the country is depend mostly on voluntarism. SASCOC, they are voluntary. Federations are voluntary. So we need to change. And we have started, Tina. We have given Confederation province money. We have also given the province district confederation money. They will have to take it further to local confederation. We need to have a data of a hub. That's who we are. That's what we stand for. I can talk a lot about sports because I am sports. Thank you very much. Advocate Mahapa. Gilati, the name. When we were in Teflop, we was on dance. I was on table tennis and softball. Then I led the SRC. So 29 coaches was Sicilia. Latin now is the president, is member of the World Dance Board. And he went and asked for help. Together with Confederation, we took her to Port Elizabeth. He came about with about 86 gold medals. And she came back, Austria, and we said, but we must develop. And he said, I'll keep the promise. He went to Skukun, develop. He went to Mopani. He went to Vembe. He's come to Capricorn and Waterbeck. Thank you, Advocate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Before we close, Desire, please give us the announcements.
Dumelang. Halala, women in sport, halala. Are you still there? Can we do that? We are all hungry, right? Okay, thank you for coming. You all look beautiful. So I'm just here to make announcements. And then so we all know the dining hall. For Baba Elorin, they don't know. As you walk out, you'll find my colleagues, and then they'll usher you that side. And then the second one is I just needed to remind all of us for the second event, which will be the awards. Registration time for the awards will start from 5 o'clock. Let's not forget to wear strictly all black. No black and a touch of anything, please. Strictly all black. And then the last one, there's gonna be a 360 photo shoot. Yeah, so you come early and you enjoy yourself. And then the last one, I would love to appreciate all the sponsors, but then VW made an effort to place some posters, the flyers on the tables. Can we all raise them up with business cards? Can you do yourself a favor? Take it, put it in the handbag, take it home, give it to a relative, let them call our sales executives, and then let's encourage them to buy cars, right? Okay, and then please engage with them as well. They are somewhere here. Levu, can you stand up? And Osara, Lababona again. So we engage in Lebona. The cars are outside, and then yeah. Also, Metropolitan is there. There's Nare outside, and then let's have fun. We'll see you later.
Right. So, Desire, please go to Mamria. Please go to Mamria. Ladies and gentlemen, as we close, thank you very much for being here. I'm looking forward to seeing you at your next event where me and Riabetso are an MC. My name is KC Mathoma. I'm a sports and corporate MC. Please go to www.kcmathoma.com. You heard that, ne? www.kcmathoma.com. I'm actually free for the rest of the year. So please go and book me there. I'm out.
Thank you so much, sir. And from me, Rebetso Wagamolapo, thank you so much for cooperating with us. It was such a fun, engaging Summit. I'm looking forward to seeing you looking dapper tonight in your sleeves and your open bags. And like him, I do have a website, www.mynamerebetsoemolapo.co.za. Thank you. And last words, ma'am?
Thank you. Okay, the last announcement, the finalists and the presenters, we're going to have a rehearsal at 3 o'clock at Safari Venue. That's where the awards are going to be. See you later. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause. The first panel, are they still here? The first panel? Can you come on the stage for a photo shoot?
I need to find out.
They're already.
Raven, Tombi, come. Stella, what else? Come.